we will sort of begin into the topic. So the
Yeah, I
topic
wanted to
will,
ask you a question about that. Actually, the topic. You said it was. Let me go back to the thing where you had it.
why the Quran responds to the emergent doctrinal development in Judeo-Christianity, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's the
What does
topic.
that
So,
necessarily like? What does that topic connotate exactly?
like yesterday, we were having a discussion.
Uh huh.
Judeo, like yesterday, we had a conversation about um, why would God sort of. You said it was not God's character to um, point out if some people thought that Jesus was a son of God, the biological son of God. God would not necessarily point that out, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, I said. I said that if God allowed it for one time, He would allow it for all time. He's all knowing. So if He knew people were gonna abuse it, He wouldn't. He would have established a certain rule, or with the prophets of old, like, okay, I am your father, but only in this sense. Do not get it mistaken. Things like this. He would have. He's a pretty clear God. He speaks in parables, but he's clear with the core messages.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why I thought it may be worthwhile to make this as a topic and have a discussion about it. Are you okay with it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. So, I wanted to have a clarification from you that do you think Jesus is a symbolic son of God, like authoritatively, or a like a unique, genuine son of God?
I believe he is the only begotten Son of God,
Oh, you
but
do
not
believe?
in the biological, like, one man, one woman procreation sense. I believe that God's all ability, his all power is enough to beget a son without a partner, so to speak. So I believe he's truly the begotten Son of God, and he's unique to all other sons of God in that way. Yeah.
Don't you think begottenness itself is biological? Like the very semantics of the word is rooted in biology, like the word begotten.
I mean, let's get a clarification on this. Let's look at what the definition in English would be. So that way it's probably better to stick to the definitions.
Yeah, I'll just pull out the definition here for you if you want that to be done here.
Okay, typically of a man, sometimes of a man and a woman, bring a child into existence by the process of reproduction, or
Yeah.
and that's the first literal definition, and the secondary definition is give rise to slash bring about.
Yeah, I mean,
So I think
if
that it
we
fits the second
yeah, if
definition
we are
better.
moving with the primary definition, the semantics of the word, it's very biological in nature. And I did have an opportunity to verify scriptures where the word begotten was used
Hmm.
in the Gospel of John
Yeah.
in relation to Christ, and the same manuscript also used the same word begotten in relation to David and Solomon, who were also considered sons to God. So the uniqueness of Jesus having a special relationship with Almighty God ceases to be because the semantics don't really accommodate a kind of unique relationship that believers in Christianity would want to portray that to be the case for Jesus.
Hmm.
Um, so I
I
don't
get it.
necessarily see.
I get why you'd think that, to be honest, if you do a word study. But the thing is, the New Testament, so obviously the book of John, like you said, would be in Koine Greek, common Greek. which was the universal language at the time. Like if you go to those areas, say you go to Israel, Italy, now the common language is English. They all speak Italian, speak Italian. The most Israelis anyway speak some like Aramaic. I forget what their, if they still use Aramaic as their private, as their like primary mother tongue, but they'll all know some amount of English due to the fact that it's the common language of that area of the world. And that's why the book of John was written in Koine Greek, because the New Testament was meant to, reach out to everyone in the world, not just Israel. I'm gonna get off that topic though, because that's off topic. The main reason I'm bringing that up is because um, you said Dawood and who else? Solomon. You said,
Suleiman.
yeah, Suleiman and Dawood. You said that they were begotten as well. The same word, begotten. It's might be some missing context. I'll grant you that it says that, but it's in a different language. So that's in Hebrew.
Yeah, but this, I mean, I'm not doing those translations, but the Bible
Uh-huh.
translation. I mean, it's I'm not even going to modern translations. This
Yeah,
is
you're going
just
to the
King
Bible
James
app, aren't you?
version. This is just King James version, like from. Let
I
me
don't
try
want
to pull.
to nitpick on versions because that's like not really conducive to a good conversation. But the King James version came through the Latin Vulgate, then translated alliterated into Old English, then into Elizabethan English. So that goes through three intermediaries linguistically before that's like translating. It's the equivalent of translating the Quran from Arabic uh to what does the Pakistani speak? I'm
Urdu.
trying Urdu. It's like translating it to Urdu, then to Spanish, then to English. Like you'd lose a couple things in the Quran, and it's not necessarily the most. I wouldn't want anybody to do that to Bible. I'm not going to do that to the King James version. Sort of has different things like that. Like we were talking about yesterday. The what is it? Was it John chapter 5 verse 7? The three that bear witness in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's sort of where those things come from. They come from uh, the multiple intermediaries, so partially. I'm not going to say that all of them, but that's where some of them come from. So the issue in the King James version is when I like to do a word study, I like to go to the original Greek in order to understand the context, in the original Hebrew and Aramaic for the other ones. Say like the Dead
Mm.
Sea Scrolls, for example, for the Old Testament, because I believe that's the best way we can do it. I really do like and respect the Muslims that go and like read the Quran in the original Arabic. I like to do
Mm.
the same personally with the Bible. So I'm not going to reject any points made from the King James version because they very well could be true, but there's also that possibility.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, coming back to the topic, you do acknowledge that you believe in Jesus having a special relationship with Almighty God, which is very distinct from
Yeah,
Moses or even Abraham or even
not
Prophet Muhammad.
necessarily. Yes, but not necessarily based solely on the fact of the word begotten, because I understand that that's been used. I believe some notable times they've been used was for other people other than the Son of God, Jesus being some verses in Isaiah, some verses in the Psalms, even a verse in Daniel, I think. So I understand that this has been used for others like Dawood and Salaman, but it's not necessarily just that. That's only used for a select few, so that gives a level of like importance to these characters. Dawood, Salaman, Jesus, they're given that there's not many people described as a begotten son of God. That puts them on a higher tier, and there are other things that bring them further up the tier and theologically. And so there are many other things that sort of lead to the conclusion that that Jesus is God in some way, shape, or form. Some things being like Isaiah, the verse in Isaiah, I forget the chapter and verse, but it refers to the son that would be born as El Gibor, mighty God.
So, I mean, I would grant you the time that you would require to be um, presenting your case here for me to be able to understand the impressions that you have of Christ, and you can also highlight the impressions during the 7th century of Christians to have of Christ, and how different it is that today you realize of Christ to be something different in comparison to 7th century Christians, for example. If you want to do that, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to start first with backing up what I said about the verse in Isaiah. Before we get too off topic on that one, I do want to make sure that I give sources for everything.
Are you
So
referring
it's
to the
Isaiah.
Emmanuel verse in Isaiah?
You said what? The what verse?
Emmanuel verse.
No, not the Emmanuel. That one's a good one, but I'm not referring to that one right here. It's Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. I'll read it out. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Chancellor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And you said that and the second thing you asked was if I could provide. I'm paraphrasing. If I could provide any Jews or early Christians who believed that these things referred to what we Trinitarian modern day Trinitarians believe them to mean. And
Yeah.
yeah, you can go to Rashi. You can for on the Jewish side. You can to show that Isaiah 9:6 is identified as a messianic passage for the Jews. Rashi is authoritative, I believe, for most Orthodox Jews um, today, which is like encompasses like seven. I want to say 70%. I could be wrong, give or take 10%. It could be 60, could be 80, but the vast majority of Jews today hold Rashi as an authoritative rabbi of old, and Rashi claims that Isaiah 9:6 is in fact a messianic prophecy, and the wording of it, for us a child is born, to us a son is given. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that sort of lines up with what Jesus and who Jesus claimed to be. Who we claim that he claimed to be. Let's say it for the sake of the topic. And Jews and for Christians, I mean, I can go find an early church father, but it should be pretty self-explanatory that most Christians who inherited the beliefs of the apostles would see something like Isaiah 9:6 and jump on it. I mean, something a verse, chapter and verse like Isaiah 9:6 that's pretty messianic out there, that lines up pretty well with Jesus. That's like candy does. You know what I mean? So I can go just for the sake of the argument and go find one, but I personally I think that one's self-explanatory. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Isaiah, Prophet Isaiah basically comes during the civil war that ensued between the northern tribes and the southern Judah.
Ooh, you know your history. Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So basically, Isaiah's teachings or prophecies must be looked into uh, in that historical context.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, Isaiah is, I believe, don't quote me on this one, but I believe the book of Isaiah is the book in the Old Testament that has the most by volume messianic prophecies. So that's definitely fits with the context of a severe civil war, amongst the tribes. So
yeah, so I can see the um, why Christians would do that, why Christians would interpret these things as prophecies or messianic prophecies. But to be honest with you, except for Isaiah 11, I suppose no other chapter sort of holds up to um, graduate to be a messianic prophecy. Even Isaiah 53, which I'm sure, if not you, but many Christian preachers online are sort of fans of Isaiah 53 to interpret
Oh
that
yeah,
to
we love
be a messianic prophecy.
we all love Isaiah 53. But
Yeah,
real
yeah.
quick, by what authority are you judging it to be, not holding up to the idea of a messianic prophecy? Because I'm 99% sure I have seen going reading what Sarashi said about some of these verses in my own study. He does identify, like, man, of course, if you don't take a Jew as a Jewish theologian, if you will, as authoritative as a Muslim, that's perfectly fine. But like, by what authority are you saying that things like Isaiah 9, even Isaiah 53, don't hold up as messianic?
Because mostly when a singularity is referred in terms of pronouns and nouns and all of that sort of stuff, it's basically referred to um, Israel as a nation, basically. So
Are you getting that from the? Are you getting that from the
no, I
Jewish
mean,
rabbis?
reading Isaiah, it's self-evident that's the case.
Okay, then let's read Isaiah 9 just for the sake of it in its entirety. Let me see how long this is. It's not too long. Do you want to do that? Just let's just do 1 to 7 for the sake of it.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Do you want to read
So
or should I?
yeah, let me just pull this up here for
I
the
can send you a link if you
audience.
want. Am I allowed to post links in the chat?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, I don't know if I can do that from the restream. I might have to go open it up on YouTube.
Mm, if you did it in the if you want me to display that on the screen, do it in the private chat here. Not private
Okay.
chat, do it in the chat, and then I can
Uh-huh.
click and display that on the thing here screen.
All right. And there you go.
Okay, you got it on the private chat.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I've already opened the same passage here. If you can see on the screen here.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, so Isaiah 9 is here. The
Would you like me to read it out loud for anybody who might be watching?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Nevertheless, there will be no more gloom for those who were in distress. In the past, he humbled the land of Zebulun. I definitely said that. I'm going to say these wrong. Zebulun and the land of Naphtali. But in the future, he will honor Galilee of the nations by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice. When dividing the plunder, for as in the days of Midian's defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressors. Every warrior's boot used in the battle, and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteous from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. So already from that just plain reading, there is I want to say two right off the bat that sort of show that this doesn't, at least in my mind, isn't talking about the nation of Israel as a whole.
Yeah,
It
but
says,
if you want to interpret that to be a messianic prophecy, obviously you know that the fulfillment of that prophecy never happened.
well, we don't believe. Well, the thing is, we don't believe that every single messianic prophecy is going to be fulfilled with the first incarnation of Jesus. We obviously believe it's a loose commonality we have with Islam, that we believe that Jesus is going to come back to accomplish something. We believe it's actually commensurate with the idea of, in rabbinic Judaism, that there will be two messiahs, Messiah bin David and Messiah bin Joseph. Messiah bin Joseph is going to be the suffering Messiah, like Isaiah 53 points to, the one that will be, um, his suffering will bring atonement, and then Mashiach ben David, it will be the one who will come and fulfill the the ruling, governmental sort of like kingdom style prophecies of the Messiah. And us Christians, we don't believe in that necessarily. We believe that Jesus came once and he will come back again, like he said in the New Testament. And then when he comes back again, all heads will bow. So these point to the future.
Okay, so do you reckon um, Jesus, when he said, "The kingdom is not mine hence," would necessarily sort of break
The
his word?
kingdom, you said, what would you say?
The kingdom is not mine hence.
Mine hence or my hands?
Not mine hence means hence is a factor of time.
Okay, what verse is that?
I think it's in the trial verse when he's being trialed with Pilate.
Mm-hmm.
So Pilate asks him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" The response is like, "The kingdom is not mine. Hence, if it was mine, my disciples would have fought it with the sword."
Okay, so John 18:36. Oh man, I was sort of hoping that'd be, that's 36. That's like towards the end. If we want to read that in context, we're gonna have to,
I mean,
let's,
it's a very declarative statement where Jesus declares that he's not interested in the world, earthly kingdom.
well, a lot of things
It's not
seem like
his.
declarative statements, but they actually point to things like deeper meaning. Like, for example, I'm not trying to change the subject at all. I will deal with this, but the one where he says, "I can do nothing of my own will." There is a very very big, not necessarily excuse, because it's by design. It's something to provoke thought. So let me come and deal with John 18:36. Let's read it. Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this." Okay, is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Jesus said, okay, what translation are you looking at? Because I'm looking at it took me to the NIV, and the NIV says something a little different. So I want to look at the one you're looking at.
I'm okay. I mean, I'm okay with the King James version, for example. Like,
Okay, let's go to King James version then. That'll be make it easier. KJV. All right, 36. Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world." Okay, it didn't even refresh. Damn it. There, there it refreshed. Jesus answered, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Jews. But now is my kingdom not from here." So basically, the explanation of that is, yeah, you're looking at it on the screen. I was trying to see if you maybe we're looking at a different translation, but it's the same. Basically, Jesus is saying that no, he did not come to rule the government. He did not come to fulfill those passages yet. He came to be the suffering servant. So he says, "My kingdom is not of this world," because Jesus, all throughout the New Testament, does not proclaim that he is to be the new governmental king. He doesn't necessarily say that yet. He's claiming that he's coming to bring the kingdom of heaven, like Harkening back to Daniel, like we talked about the other day, you will see the Son of Man riding in on the clouds of heaven. Like that's talking about the kingdom of heaven. It's not necessarily talking about becoming the new president of Israel or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what their government is, but I'm just using president as a placeholder.
Oh yeah. But there is no clarification of his second coming over there, right? In effect,
Not in
say that,
John. I don't think.
yeah,
I
in
don't
effect,
think.
say that I'm going to come back and hold my kingdom thereon.
I think he
So
does say it later in John, but not in John 18. I'll grant you that it doesn't say that, just because I don't know off the top of my head, and I don't want to make claims that I can't back up. I
yeah,
don't want to hold the stream up
I
either,
mean,
so I'll grant you that.
yeah, there's an element that's important here to take notice of. Like, you, I'm sure you've studied the return of Jesus Christ, for example. Um, when he returns, basically, it's a cataclysmic event, the destruction of the earth, sort of
Yeah, he'll
thing.
come back in the end times. Yeah,
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 the
I
skies
know.
and all of that sort of stuff. When he comes back on clouds, being
Mm-hmm.
sitting on the right hand of God and everything. So it's basically a judgment scene unfolding there. So do you reckon after the judgment day? I mean, obviously, judgment day requires human beings to be resurrected, to be judged by God.
Mm-hmm.
And after such an event, do you reckon the earth has a future in which Jesus will remain a king and these will go on to fulfill these prophecies? Like, for
Yeah.
example, Judgment Day scene basically destroys all the nations or the setup that we have currently on the earth, nations and communities. All of that will be demolished, and all humanity will be brought to be judged
Yep.
as one single humanity. So there's the
Mm-hmm.
concept of kingdoms will wane away
Wait, are you
and won't
talking
be
about
there.
from the Christian perspective or from the Muslim perspective?
Like I'm
Because
basically I'm talking about the judgment day. Like on
yeah,
judgment day,
yeah.
what sort of things will happen?
Okay, okay.
So judgment day will necessitate that the nations will be dissolved.
Yeah,
Okay,
100%.
so after such an outcome, do you reckon Jesus has something left to fulfill his prophecies? I don't think so, right?
No, you are 100% correct, but there's more after that. It's not the end all be all. Like there's a big huge, I don't even blame you, to be honest, because I believed this up until like a couple months ago, until I looked into it more, when I was asked about it. When we get judged, and the ones who are, who accepted the Son of God, they go to heaven, and the ones who rejected him will be rejected as well, and sent to hell and whatnot. That's not the end. Most people look at that as the end. Okay, we're in heaven forever with God forever, and the people in hell are in hell forever. Um, that's actually not the end. There is a I can do my best to pull up some verses and some chapters that expound upon it. But basically, there's a thing where we will not be in heaven forever. The world will be remade as it was before the fall of man and before sin entered creation, and all the people who went to heaven will be put on this new Eden. And it will basically be, since Jesus says throughout the New Testament that if you believe in Jesus, you're Israel by heart and by soul, not necessarily by nationality and gene and like race. So that new everybody that will be on the new Eden will be, you know the Israelites. So he will rule in that sense. Like he will come and rule over Israel, over all, in this new Eden afterwards. So yeah, some of these things are for even after Judgment Day. That's some of the things that I feel like gets lost in the sauce, if you will. Um, I can do that. I'll start looking up now to back that up, because I know that's a haughty claim to make.
Yeah, look, I think Christians who are reading manuscripts, they are getting this idea wrong here for some reason, because they are fixated on the return of Christ to be able to fulfill the messianic prophecies. And in the meantime, what they do is they overlook the deferral of Christ, that Christ actually provided and delegated it to a future spiritual leader, a future prophet. So when you overlook those delegations and deferrals of Christ, you would necessarily spiral up into a second coming concept because the messianic prophecies remain unfulfilled. So I can understand where you're coming from, but it may be important for you to go and study the deferral and delegation of Christ. I've made a video on my YouTube channel. It's called the deferral of Christ to Prophet Muhammad. So if you have a chance, go and have a look at that video, and you might sort of learn at least a Islamic take on the deferral of Christ and why second coming of Christ will not um, necessitate outcomes of the messianic prophecies, because already the world is judged, and the concept of nations and societies has um, like dissolved. So there is nothing much left for Christ to partake in fulfilling those messianic prophecies, especially when
I feel like a lot of those things, I'm gonna grant you those things for the sake of your paradigm from your perspective as a Muslim on what you find authoritative. Obviously, you know, you being a good Muslim, you'd have to believe in those things, you know, because I point to me a good Muslim who doesn't believe what the Quran says. You know what I mean? So it's but it's necessary. I guess we can. I definitely would love, because you actually know a lot. Um, and you're a joy to talk to. So I'd love to have like maybe a certain like a debate in the future, like maybe another one of these in the future. I don't know if
yeah,
you'd call this a
sure,
debate. It seems more like a conversation, but another
yeah, we'll go
conversation
for
in the
that.
future where we talk about maybe what makes the Quran authoritative, or like for for Jews and Christians, on why we should see the Quran as something like, okay, this is what it claims to be. You know what I mean? Like something like that. I just sent you the in the private chat. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but
Yeah,
the some verses that back up what I said
yeah,
about the new world. Second Peter
yeah.
chapter 3 verses 13. But in keeping with his promise, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth where righteousness dwells. There's Isaiah 65 verse 17, every Christian's favorite Old Testament book, Isaiah. See, I will create new heavens and a new earth. The former things will not be remembered, nor will they come to mind. And then Revelation 21, verses 1 to 4. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them, and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. So those
Hmm.
are sort of the things that I use to that, because I need to back up my claims that I make,
Yeah,
just
sure.
for the sake of clarity.
Yeah, sure. I mean, will be difficult passages for you to have a recourse on navigating this original argument, because
Uh-huh.
uh, I mean, I just want to ask you this, Aaron. There
Yeah.
are a few people here in the chat.
Yep.
They want to join this conversation. Will you be okay if I let them in, or shall we let them in after we finish?
Will will I be put like pulled down, like so you can talk to them one on
No, no,
one,
no,
or will it
no.
be a panel?
No, oh, it would be like I would want to give them the opportunity to interact with us, if and you and me both, if they want to.
Yeah.
So I think we can continue our conversation for 15 more minutes, and we can sort of have a conclusion, and then give them the opportunity to come and have a chat with both of us if they would like to. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine, because I feel like more than right now, we both have very, like, you know, concrete reasons in our respective scriptures, and in each other's respective scriptures,
Hmm.
to why we hold to the points we hold to, which will necessitate a further conversation later down the line on whose perspective has the most ground to stand on.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So we'll have to have a Quran, like maybe a Quranic narrative versus biblical narrative and preservation, and just things like that, to sort of, you know, really come to a definitive on whose ideas we go with.
So if I did set up a debate kind of thing, like a formal debate with timed sort of arrangements, would you be willing to come in with your video footage and have like a very um, formal kind of debate done with
Like
me?
with my camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can set something like that up. I don't have a camera for my PC, so I'll have to use my phone. But yeah, I don't mind. I'd
Yeah.
love to.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be lovely actually to sort of agree on something here to debate. And what would be how do you want to define the topic of the debate?
I feel like, well, for the sake of clarity and coming to good, coming to an agreement, a mutual agreement, we'd have to
Mm,
have multiple set for the future. So maybe the first one would be like maybe biblical preservation versus Quranic preservation. See which one's more, you know, say if they're, because we have to establish that our authoritative, scriptures are preserved, and that they are, they do have like ground to stand on. So I think that'd be a good one to place to start.
okay, and how do you proceed from there?
We just show that, okay, say the Quran may or may not be preserved, and the Bible may or may not be preserved. We'll be able to come to a consensus on which one shows better signs of preservation, and free from tampering and whatnot. And then we'll be
Okay.
able to further use with that, foundation set and agreed upon. We'll be able to go with our scriptures and point out
Mm,
things and what it teachings, the differences in teachings.
gotcha.
And
What's the sort of format you're looking at? 5 minute opening statements or 10 minute or 15 minute? Like what?
well, yeah, maybe like a 5 minute opening statement. I can't really. Yeah, I think 5 minutes will work.
And then an open panel kind of discussion between you and me for like next 30 minutes.
Sure.
Okay, 5 minutes each, and then 30 minutes open panel, and then we'll open the panel for viewers to come and ask us questions for another 30 minutes. Will that be all right?
Yeah, sounds great.
Altogether, it'll be like a 1 hour 40 minute sort of commitment. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can commit to that. That's all good.
Yeah, 1 hour 40 minute commitment already. So I will set up a debate for Monday, coming Monday, like
Mhm.
same time, 9:30 p.m. at your place.
Yep, that'll work.
Okay.
Um, One thing I do think that it would be, we can exchange this in emails later. We should like agree upon some certain things, like maybe tell each other some of the points we're going to bring. That way we can bring up on topic material for our opening statements and our
Yeah, a quality
further
equality
discussion.
equality debate. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to make sure
Yeah,
we're able to
I
bring up
agree with it.
certain
I mean, I
points.
absolutely agree that we need to have some sort of a visibility on the sort of points that we are bringing to the table, so we can be prepared and bring our points to be discussed on the topic. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
really good to me.
I agree. I mean, that should be the way it should be done. And I will send you email about the material, and you can send me an email as well on the material, and then we can go from there.
Yes, sir.
So I will set this up for Sunday night for you. Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. will be Monday morning for me. Ready?
That sounds good.
Okay. So now, just to conclude, like or to uh, today, the topic that we're talking about, do you think we should open up the panel now for people to join in and have an interaction
Well,
on the subject here?
yeah, I feel like that'd be a
Okay.
good idea. We
I'll
already
just
have
post the
the
link
a
now.
further like formal debate set up later.
So I'll
We
just
can save
post
all
the
the
link
juicy
here
stuff
for
for
them to
then.
join now, and we'll see if people have any questions for us.
hmm Sorry about that. I don't know if anybody could hear that. That was my cat knocked something over.
Don't worry about it.
I'll be right back in like 10 seconds.
So guys, I have the panel open now. The link is shared. So if you want to join in, you're most welcome to join in. And if you have questions for me or for Aaron, feel free to do so. So continuing to talk, we kind
Yep.
of we were conversing on the subject that why does the Quran respond response to the emergent doctrinal development in Judeo-Christianity. And to summarize that view, the topic, I would say, um, God did have a contract with Abraham, unlike with anybody in the entire history of humanity. So it was unique to Abraham that God had this contract with him. The contract was more so a political affiliation with Abraham's family. And ever since then, the prophecy has been limited to Abraham's family, and Abraham's family was intended as a model nation, which would be an example for the rest of the nations in the world to come and heed to the God of Abraham through the works, the fruits of this nation that would go on to produce. So, this political affiliation with Almighty God was an enduring covenant as long as the people who were given this covenant were disciplined and obeyed Almighty God. So, it was an ever enduring covenant, but a contingent covenant. And we have seen in the history of Israelites their downfalls. The Israelites were not the best of the people, matching the expectations of Almighty God. So God did discipline them a couple of times, and God did try to work with them, as we see during Elijah's time, when God goes on to say, "There's hardly 7,000 knees that have not bowed down to Baal," even though God had done earth-shattering interventions in rescuing Israelites from the firm grips of Pharaoh and lightening the sky up with miracles through the stick of Moses and everything. And but the Israelites fell, and that required God punished them and disciplined them. So He sent them into exile in Babylon, and then on the second occasion He sort of dispersed them into the larger earth for a significant period of time. And God changed. I believe that God changed His plans, and ever since this relationship that God has with the Israelites, God has been admonishing them time and again with every new prophet, wanting them to be reconciled with God. And because of the failures of Israelites, God just made it a point that He would want to establish this covenant again with the meek in the world. So the meek would be defined by people who would look up to God, who would wait upon the Lord for their next moves. So God did go on and clarify a lot of the things that Israelites messed up. So Jesus even came along and said, "Don't think my attitudes reflect of um, ditching the prophets. That's not the intention." And Jesus clarifies, I've not come to ditch the prophets or the law, but I've come to confirm them and fulfill them. And in that fulfillment, He sort of bestows mercy in the law. He goes on to say, "This was said of the old times, but I tell you this, and I tell you this, and I tell you this." And He provides a series of reformations and amendments,
Uh-huh.
not in a way to be interpreted that He was doing away with the law, but He was actually fulfilling the law by involving the doctrine of mercy in the strict, stringent codex of the law, right? I mean, it
Uh-huh.
required mercy to be mitigated with mercy as well. So justice always accompanied with mercy is a fair law, is a fair system. So that's what precisely Jesus did. And the Quran then goes on to do the same thing. And the Quran, when the Quran comes, it really highlights the differences that really came to be among Israelites, and also their rejection of the Messiah, which was important to God, that God provided a admonition or a teaching that Israelites had rejected their Messiah, and their waiting another Messiah would be fruitless. It would not be fulfilled because the Messiah already came to them and they rejected Him. So God necessarily goes on, provides His feedback or His correction or His affirmation of the original doctrine, and sort of reprimands the Hebrews for their misbehavior, And this is what the Quran does. The Quran responds to the emergent doctrinal development in Judeo-Christianity, correcting the wrongs of the Hebrews and also
Mm-hmm.
the Christians when they derailed and they literally took a Messiah to be the Son of God in a very exclusive sense, uh, which aligns more so with the pagan cultures of the past, rather than seeing the Messiah as an authoritative figure that God had intentions of bringing about a great reform in that part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So the Quran necessitates the corrections of the doctrines that went wrong with the Jewish people and the Christian people, and therefore the
Mm-hmm.
Quran postures itself as a guardian text. And obviously, this is the theme that we will be looking into the debate that's coming up between you and me
Yeah.
on on Monday my
Sunday.
time and Sunday night your time. So the
Yep.
topic would be biblical preservation versus uh, the Quran's preservation, something
Mm-hmm.
that's vital and important to be discussed. And I would
Yep.
basically, I would give you an impression of what I would do. I would basically um, quote Margain van Putten research. I will try to research him out and his conclusions over the preservations of the Quran, because he's not a Muslim and he's a secular scholar. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he is a Christian. I think he's an atheist or agnostic at most.
Yeah, probably.
But his research is being funded by universities in the Europe to conduct his research on the Quranic manuscripts and
Is
the
it
Quran
is it
preservation.
English? Europe
Yeah,
meaning
you
like
can get material
England?
out of him in English for sure. His name is Margain van Putten. It's spelled as Marginvanputten. So I'll type it.
Okay,
I'll type it.
start spelling it again. Sorry, I had to get pull up something so I could write it down.
Margin. I'm doing it in the chat, private chat
Oh,
here.
perfect, 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 perfect.
So
And just to respond to what, oh, perfect. Let me copy and paste that into in some notes right now. Beautiful, beautiful. Um, just to respond to what you said and give my opposing view, just for the sake of like being able to close out and open the
sure,
panel.
go ahead.
I do believe that from a Quranic perspective, if you take the Quran as authority and like from the Islamic perspective, everything you said is true. However, if you look at the if you look at, like, it seems like you're doing almost part of your argument has a little bit of an element of internal critique to it, and it sort of hinges upon the idea, at least partially hinges upon the idea that you said that you think that the Lord changed his mind, or changed his mind to maybe go in a different direction, almost by necessity. Um, and I have this one right here. It's Numbers 30, in Numbers 23, verse 19. It's actually a verse that a lot of Muslims like to bring up when arguing against the Bible. But it basically just says, God is not a man. Hold on. God is not human that he should lie, not a human being that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? So it's basically pointing to the fact that no matter what we do, no matter how we rebel, the Lord's plan is completely perfect, and we no imperfect actions can catch an all-knowing God off guard to the point where he has to change up his whole religion and his whole plan for things going forward. Everything that we could ever do to try and thwart God's plans is already well accounted for in the eyes of the Lord, and he does not change his mind. Anytime that he tried, or that it appeared he changed his mind, like Abraham sacrificing his son, and then he said stop last second, that was on by purpose. That was by design. He didn't want him to kill his son. He did it so that way he might prove his loyalty. The plan was always to stop Abraham before he killed his son. So in these instances where to an imperfect person it may seem like he changes his mind, he doesn't. It's all calculated. It's all a part of his plan, because the Lord is all knowing. So that, and I feel like it also hinges upon whether or not the Prophet Muhammad of Islam is actually a true prophet, and whether or not his teachings are authoritative, which we can definitely have that conversation, because obviously if we have that debate later in the future and we both come to the agreement that yes, Prophet Muhammad is more than likely telling the truth and is more than likely a true prophet, then we have to take what he says. So this is sort of sets up, sort of begs the question for a later topic. But I guess my final point would be the fact that your point only works if you assume the stance of the Islamic understanding of biblical events. So the idea that Christian or early Christians corrupting, let's say, the message of Jesus and taking the Messiah as a god alongside Hashem, alongside Yahweh, alongside Allah, whatever you might want to call him, is a corruption. That idea that it's a corruption only is commensurate with the Islamic understanding. There's Jewish reconciliations as well as Christian reconciliations with that. Christians wouldn't even see that as a corruption. So the premise that you're saying that, you know, them taking Jesus as God is a corruption, and that sort of necessitates that God needs to clarify with the Quran and with the message, only works if you assume the narrative of Islam. Because if you assume the narrative of Christianity, that's not a problem, because that's literally our theology. So it's just, it needs to be fleshed out in further debates on whether or not, on preservation, on prophetic claims from the Islamic side, and preservation from the biblical side, to sort of prove which one is right. So I think that's sort of like how I'd wrap that up.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for wrapping that up in that way. I have to tell you that I have no problems with numbers 18, 19. Um, I, I, I don't necessarily see that as any hindrance to understanding the doctrine of contingency that God brings about
I
in
just
the
want to just want, I'm
Testament.
not trying to play semantics here. I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's numbers 23 23:19. I wanted to clarify that just in case you wrote that down on your notes and
Yeah,
you misquoted it, you're not
I saw the verse
confused.
here, 23:19.
Yeah, 23:19. Okay, perfect. I'm
Yeah,
just trying to make sure.
yeah. I don't necessarily see a problem with that. And the mechanism of contingency that God Himself brings into the into the contractual document with Abraham and the Israelites when He stated to Moses in Deuteronomy and Exodus, He does. We can see the contingency all along. So changing God changing His plans did not abruptly happen or came out of nowhere. It was all communicated back then to Moses, so it was all documented, and nothing out of the ordinary happens with God changing His plans because He's forewarned them already. So yeah, I don't necessarily see that as a problem at all. Contingency is part of the Bible, and people just can't get rid of it. So it's always God has this like obedience comes first. If you don't obey, I will change my plans. So there's always this threat of God changing plans, and they occur, they unravel. So no problem. We can have these things discussed. And guys, if you want to join us live, um, if you have anything to say, you're most welcome. And I'll be 5 more minutes, and we will just wrap this up. We'll wrap this stream up today. And what do you reckon, Aaron?
I feel like, yeah, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to
Yeah,
let
are you
whoever
okay?
might want to
Are
come
you
up.
okay to me calling you Aaron, or you want me to call you Big Boy?
Dude,
Or
whatever you want, man. I don't mind either.
yeah, okay,
Whatever you find
Aaron.
easiest. It
Aaron
might be
sounds
weird to call somebody big boy all the
yeah,
time. So,
yeah. Aaron is just fine, and
yep.
let us know when you open your channel. And
Who knows,
yeah,
if you let me, I might want to take some download these last two streams and maybe
yeah,
edit
sure.
them
Go,
and post them like that.
yeah,
That might be
go
pretty
ahead,
good.
and yeah, go. You're welcome to do that. And when you do that,
I'll definitely
I
tag you in the link. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah, tag my channel in the link, and
100%.
that'll be a welcome thing to do.
Yeah, all right. I'll
Yeah.
be sure to tag you in the title as well. I'll be able to put your at on
Okay,
there so
that'll be
people can click
wonderful.
instantly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be wonderful. And I'm look. My method is slightly different. I'm not an antagonist. I don't posture antagonistic in an antagonistic manner.
hmm
My intention is not to be an enemy to Christians. My intentions from very long time. I'm seasoned. to be a friendly person to the Christians. Like I dreamed about it, like not my night dreams, but my daydreams. I dreamed about it through my career, when I was researching these subject matters, that to have friendly relations with Christian people.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is something that I would like to pursue, as we can have chats in a friendly manner. There's nothing like
Yep.
losing or winning or anything like that. I don't necessarily see debates as a victory or as a loss. I see them as tools and mechanisms and processes to enhance and upgrade our learning. And uh, that's how I mean, I think that's the most civil approach that I can have to having discussions and discourses with people. Otherwise, I think it's fruitless to even spend time to talk to people just because I want to have a winning argument over them.
Hmm.
It doesn't really satisfy me to conduct
Yeah.
myself in that way. It's more of
And
like,
and that's not necessarily to say that neither of us wouldn't, be happy if we were able to convert the other to, that's not to say that either. But of
yeah,
course, me and you are in a complete 100% agreement on this. I
yeah.
I I'm not gonna say I practice it, but I just don't. Even when people, try to be antagonistic to me and say terrible things about my God, just in order to try and bait me into engaging with them, I don't let it I don't let it bother me too much,
Mm.
because that's not the point.
Yeah.
So that's not
Did
what
you
it's all about.
did you have a chance to look at a couple of debates that I've had on my channel in relation to evolution with this guy
I
called
probably would
Ego?
agree with you more. I can tell just by the way the couple times we've spoken, I'd probably agree with you more than I would someone else. But no, I haven't had a chance to yet. Dude, I've literally been working every second of the
Gotcha.
day today. This
Mm.
is this is this is sort of my unwinding right now before I go to bed.
Yeah.
So
Okay. All right. I get
this
you.
is real nice.
If
But
you
I'll
do have a
definitely look into it.
chance, I'll post a link here. The first debate was interesting, so I would want you to just listen to it if you have a chance.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I work labor, so I
So
have plenty of time to just pop in your earbuds while I'm working and listen to things. So definitely, yeah.
yeah, I send the link to you. Have a listen to that, and yeah, I mean, I'm okay with having a chat with anybody. I see a lot of bad behavior
The video's
online.
private.
Yeah, I see a lot of bad behavior online.
Yeah.
Atheists bringing down people of religion doing the same thing to each other. But I believe in setting up a good example here. We can talk to
Hmm.
everybody and anybody comfortably, not making other people humiliated or belittled or uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's all,
I
after
agree.
all, we are seeking the truth, and to seek out
Hmm.
the truth is a doctrine enshrined in all of these religions. Like
Yeah.
Judaism
Even to
has it,
take that
Christianity has it.
even to take that point a step further, most people's, if not every person's, ideology isn't necessarily commensurate with the idea of antagonizing someone of opposing beliefs, because basically every belief system on the planet would benefit from more people, agreeing upon it and conforming to it. So
Mm,
the atheists, the people of any real ideology, whether it be religious or elsewise or otherwise, is the kind of people who go out and start antagonizing and demonizing the other side is not necessarily the kind of people you want to be
mm.
taking as, taking their word 100%. So I agree with you.
Yeah. Did you come across Justin's Deconstruction Zones channel?
I think I did when I was scrolling through lives. I think I actually ran into him a couple days before I actually ran encountered your live, which is so funny. I was just looking for lives that did on YouTube that did Collins, and then that's how I found you yesterday. So all
Can you
that
say
was
that?
purely by
Can you say that
chance.
again, Aaron?
Oh yeah, sorry. The way I found your channel yesterday was simply because I was just going on YouTube and looking for live streams that did Collins.
Call-ins.
That's
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I found you. Funny enough, and then it turned into this. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, YouTube is not helpful, I should say. I mean, I've been doing lives for 2 months now, and to see such a small number of people turn out to attend to my channel, it's like, what am I doing incorrect? What should I do better in order to get attention of the people? So I'm kind of left out. Like YouTube is not really helping much, I suppose. But
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot of saturation of content, so a lot of people get swept under the rug. It sucks,
Mm,
but that's the way it works, I guess.
mm. Yeah, but
Is
patience, I
Brett
think,
still here
virtue.
to be let up?
Sorry, Aaron.
Is is Brett still here?
No, Brett. I think Brett's gone. I think I was talking to him just before you. I changed over because I told him that I will stream with you. I love your video about evolution. It's not about evolution, Andrew. If you want to join in, I'm sorry it was like last minute change. I know that you're being funneled here because of evolution, but uh, it's just the way I set up the stream here on my stream, restream. So you might have got a wrong impression. The actual topic is why the Quran responds to emergent doctrinal development in the Judeo-Christianity. But I can stick here a link on evolution. If you go on, if you want to go and watch that debate here, just watch that
Yeah,
debate. They're having
I
it
think
before.
you sent that one already. Yeah,
No, here
I clicked.
I'm talking about here. To There's somebody here on my YouTube chat.
Yeah, yeah, I see it, I see it. But you sent that link already to me in the private chat.
I did, yes.
Was it the same one? Yeah, it's the same one,
It's
and
the
that
same
one
one. Yeah.
says that it's the video is private.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it looks so it
Okay.
appears to be private.
Okay. So just bear with me, guys.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. I already have it on the list anyway. I'll watch it.
Okay, that is private. So I'm so sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I will redo it and I'll delete this. Remove evolution and debate. Thank you for letting me know, Aaron.
Yep. And I just want to let you know now that I have you right here. Um, a lot of my arguments on the against the Quranic preservation for when
Yep.
we have that debate on Monday your time
Yep.
is going to be the core main points I'm going to try and stick to because the core main points I'm going to try and stick to is the third Caliph Uthman, that whole situation, the um the disagreements between the four learned men appointed by Muhammad to learn the Quran from, the disagreements on surah numbers and such things from the Hadith, Quranic manuscript variants.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them, I'm gonna try and leave out the ones that are in the Qurayshi dialect. Gonna try and keep all the manuscript variants in the same dialect of Arabic, just for the sake of clarity and simplicity in
Yep.
cross examination. And I will let you know further if I think of a fourth one. But I'm just gonna try and not keep it more than four
Sure.
points, just for the sake of digestibility.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks
Okay.
for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Already, and we can. I think we can close the stream now. What do you reckon?
There's no one. I think if Andrew's still here, we can maybe let him up if he wants to talk. But
Yeah, if he wants to join, Andrew wants to join. He's most welcome to join. Previously, Brett was trying to get in, but I think Brett has gone to some other stream. I suppose. Thanks so much. I saved
yeah,
it to watch later, and I will check it out when it pops up in my feed. Sure, Andrew. I mean, if you want to join here with us right now, you're welcome to do so. Prophet Daniel has spoken. What the documentary, Christ, privacy. So yeah, I
Christ's
mean, if you
conspiracy.
guys want to join here and have a conversation with me and Aaron, you're most welcome to. If you have any questions that you would like to ask us, you're most welcome to join in and have a chat. But otherwise, do you know Brett Aaron? Brett Kean? Do you know him?
No, but he was also in the last live stream we did yesterday.
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
did yesterday and that I participated in.
yeah.
Um, I I believe I got from what he was saying yesterday, he was being a troll. I think he threw some a Quran verse to show that calling accusing you of being a hypocrite for being friendly with me, because apparently his understanding of that Quran verse is that Christians and Muslims can't be friends ever, and he was just saying a bunch of other things, like he wanted to get up and debate, and it seemed like it wasn't necessarily in good faith. So my opinion is of him is that he might be a Christian who's one of the people that we were discussing a couple minutes ago that don't like to argue, have good faith conversations.
Yeah, I mean, I have no comments to that. I mean, people have personal relationships, I suppose, with different individuals. Chemistry works different with different individuals. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll leave that out. But yeah, we will proceed as agreed upon, and I'm looking forward to meeting you on Monday. I
Uh-huh.
just have, I think, the right time to prepare, and
Hmm.
yeah, looking promisingly to have some big and nice conversations and material for people to engage with. And
Yeah, we got some juicy things to talk about Monday, so this is
yeah,
going to be
so
a very
I would
fun thing.
appreciate if you bring your video footage in. That would be the nicest thing that can happen to the stream, I suppose.
Yeah, I got you, man. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I got a
yeah,
good iPhone camera, so it's all good.
yeah. Okay, alrighty. All right, Aaron, you have a good day. God bless you, and God bless everybody in the chat and your families. All right, you have a
Likewise,
wonderful day,
likewise,
guys.
brother.
Yeah, see you.
God bless.